If you look at the chart here, it very quickly outlines the differences between the two parties, and one of the most important of these is that the Federalists are loose constructionists of the Constitution, while Jeffersonians are strict constructionists. And that simply means that when you look at the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 18 is called the Necessary and Proper Clause, or the Elastic Clause. And this is the clause that grants Congress a set of so-called implied powers. That is, powers that are not explicitly named in the Constitution, but are assumed to exist because of their being necessary to implement the powers that are expressly given in the Constitution, and that are named in Article 1. So people like the Federalists would have appreciated a very loose interpretation of this elastic clause, while the Democratic Republicans would have wanted to limit the power of the federal government and give more power to the state governments. When it comes to the economy, Federalists believed that Congress can control commerce, can coin money, can pay debts, and collect taxes, and also that the government can have its own bank, the Bank of the United States. Whereas the Jeffersonian Republicans identify with individual liberties and the heritage of the American Revolution, and most importantly, they do not favor a national bank. When you look at the people who make up the ranks of the Federalists, they're usually speculators, merchants, manufacturers, and commercial farmers, often people who are quite wealthy, versus the Democratic Republicans who are committed to an agrarian, rural farming America, in which power remains in the hands of the farmers and the planters. And that was really an ideal that was espoused by Thomas Jefferson. Also, the Federalists show a distrust really for common people. They believe that for these uneducated commoners to rule might actually bring the downfall of government, and they felt that the federal government should protect commerce rather than interfering with it. Whereas Jefferson and his followers believed that the best government was the government that governed the least, a more laissez-faire approach to governing. And then the last difference between the two is that the Federalists are going to be pro-British, whereas the Jeffersonians and the Democratic Republicans are going to be much more pro-French and pro-helping the French out during the French Revolution.